The gospel has power.
John 11:34. This is the kind of a story I'll talk to you about. Lazarus, when he died, and you know he was in the tomb 4 days, and Jesus came and raised him from the dead. And you'd think he would have put a book out or something about like they do today. You know, people die today and they get up and the spirit get up out of the bed and they get upside and watch the doctors work on them, and they looking down at the doctor working on their bodies. I always thought that was kind of strange that Paul said, "Well, the end of the body, out of the body, I can't tell." If he was out of the body, he sure could have been telling it, because he could see his body laying on the bed like you've been seeing. All these messages of people dying and coming up out of the ground and going up in the air and floating up over their bodies is not no God message. It's a man message. And men believe it. You pack your church out to hear somebody say they died and went to heaven. And then they died and go into hell for 23 minutes. They'll pack your church out to hear that kind of message. So what we're saying is the gospel is secondary. My message of hell is number one. The gospel is the power to save people, to bring people to God. That's what he uses. Not your message about hell. The gospel is the power of God to set you free, to bring deliverance to the captives, to bring truth, to bring them out of darkness into light. But this going out of my body, looking back at my body in the bed and all that kind of stuff, there ain't no scripture for that. We believe it though. I believe it's straight out of the pits of the darkness. I want to say something else, but the devil ain't in hell. He never been there. I want to say straight out of the pits of hell, but that would be lying. The devil is not in hell. He causes what we call hell, the transparent earth. No. He puts it in proper perspective. Let's look at 2 Corinthians 11. Let's move. Let's don't cover that. Let's go to 14. We'll go digress a little bit. Let's go to John chapter 14, verse 12. And this is something that we should be talking about. We should be concerned about this. Now, Jesus talked about building his church, that the gates of Hades would not prevail against it, would not derail it. He would keep his assignment. The church that we know today has been derailed. And if it's derailed, it's not God's church. It's our church. It's your church. Are you listening to me? God's church cannot be derailed by the enemy. Look around you. Your church, our church is derailed. You can't tell a person who confessed to be a Christian from one who confessed to be a devil. They looked alike. They go to the same places. They act alike. They dressed alike. Oh man, they do dress alike, don't they? Take a look at it. This stuff is real. Now this, what I just said then, that's not the gospel, but that's a product of it. It's the truth. Anything that's truth is a product of the gospel. Are you listening? How are you going to be set free? You got to have truth to be set free. Are you listening to me? Jesus said in John chapter 14, verse 12, he says, "Verily, verily, surely I say unto you," I'm talking to you all, "he that believeth on me, the works," what? "Believeth on me, the works that I do shall he do also." Not only do we don't see the works of Christ. We hear expository teaching, we hear exegesis of scriptures, hermeneutics programs and all that kind of thing. Books on how to read the Bible, books on how to obey the Bible, books on how to use the Bible, books on how to read the Bible. Oh man, you got books galore. But we don't see no works of Jesus. We see works of men. "Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me," now if you believe on Jesus, the works that I do, he said, if you believe on me, this is going to show you who you believe in. If you're not doing the works of Jesus Christ, Pastor, in your church, then you don't believe in Jesus. He says, if you believe in me, these are the works that you, he said, verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, he that believeth on me. Every person that believeth on me will demonstrate, God would demonstrate himself in your church services. God would go on display in your church. And if God goes on display in your congregation, God goes on display in people's lives in the earth. The whole thing is for God to demonstrate himself in the earth is the mission. The devil's time is up. We're here now with truth. No more lying and getting away with it. The effect of the lies is about to be broken by the gospel. Are you listening to me? Let's finish reading up John chapter 4, verse 12. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works. Study the works of Jesus, church. Study the works of Jesus, not the works of your pastor. Study the works of Jesus. The works that I do shall they, or he or him, do also. And greater works than these shall you do, because I go to my Father. That's another teaching altogether, which I'll not touch right now. But do you see greater works than Jesus? We see messages that hasn't changed no life. Messages does not change life. I want you to listen to it. I said messages does not change life. Unless you giving the messages through the messenger, who is the Holy Spirit, who comes to guide us into all truth. For he don't speak of himself. The Bible says he speaks that which God speaks as he's speaking it. That's the key. Not saying what he said. Don't learn what he said and come preach it, because you can preach that without God. Learn what he's saying and preach it along with God by his Spirit. That's the power. That gospel changes lives and set people free. Are you listening to me? Now let's look at Matthew chapter 16. Like I say, stay with me. I'm going to get me some iPods.